So I had a wonderful childhood. I had a mom and dad who loved me. I had a very safe, nurturing home. And it wasn't until after several years of marriage that I really, for the first time in my life, felt gut wrenching, devastating pain. And I did not know what to do with that. I chose avoidance and denial for like 8 years. And when I finally called a Fair Recovery, and when my husband and I started to go through the EMS online program, I was a, a devastated, broken, shallow, exhausted. I was just a shell of a woman. I joke sometimes that I was the Walking Dead before zombies were cool, because that's how my life felt. I just shuffled through the day, just trying to make it through another day, trying to exist, trying to, feed the kids, and that was hard. So I just, it was devastating, and I remember looking at my husband and thinking, this is the man who caused me the greatest pain of my life. This is the man who smashed my heart into a million pieces. And not only did he cause pain in my life, it's like he became my pain. He was my pain personified and walking around my house. And I felt like that for a long time, that just, I'm living with this pain in my heart, but I'm living with my pain, my husband. But we stayed the course. We went through EMS online, and we just began to work on this issue, began to find some measure of healing and moving forward with our lives. At the very wrap up of our first program, my husband had a trip to Colorado that came up for business, and he wanted me to go along, and I did not want to go. I didn't want to be alone with him for a week. That was really scary. I thought, what's going to happen without our routine, without the safety of our everyday life, and just the two of us. And I remember sitting on the plane next to my husband and thinking, I just have to play it cool, because I don't want him to know that I am completely terrified. And I'm just thinking this could really go all ways of wrong. And without our children around, because we did a pretty good job of keeping the peace with the kids around, and we didn't fight, but we don't have them now for a week. And I was really scared, and remember telling all my friends, we just pray for me, because I'm going on this trip with my husband. And so my friends are praying, and I'm on the trip, and we're in Colorado, and it's just beautiful there. We hiked the Seven Falls. We went to the Garden of the Gods. We drove up all the way up to Pikes Peak. Got to spend some time with friends from college, and I survived. So even actually enjoyed the time away with him. So it was a really big step to take. And I'm glad I was brave, because it was scary, and it was a hard decision. So anyway, we come back from the trip, and we're continuing to do this work, because there's a lot of work to do when you have a betrayal in your marriage. And I think sometimes people face a betrayal, and they call up a marriage counselor, and they try to work on the marriage, but they haven't dealt with the betrayal. And it doesn't work that way. You really have to deal with the betrayal and then work on the marriage. So we started to work on our marriage. We have some other couples in our lives, and we're rebuilding this thing that has been shattered. Of course, we're getting the newsletter from A Fair Recovery and reading books. I love to read. And we did some other marriage classes. My husband is in an accountability group that he meets with every week. And we began to find healing. And we began to just rebuild and grow together again as husband and wife. So 6 years down the road, it might have even been 7 years down the road, we celebrated our 20th wedding anniversary. And so we had this dream trip planned. We went to Cancun, went to Mexico, and I remember getting on that plane and just being genuinely excited. not having the same fear or dread that I had had on that other trip. I'm not the same girl that I was 6 years before, and we don't have the same marriage. Like, things have really shifted and really changed for us, and we're looking forward to this week away together. I'm looking forward to this week away. That's a huge shift for me, and so just really grateful for that. But let me tell you, I wish we would have had my friends praying for us again, because that was a crazy trip. On the plane, my husband started having this pain in his eye, and he didn't sleep the first night we got there. He had so much pain. So the first day on our big dream anniversary trip, we had to go to the hospital in Cancun. When we get to the hospital, we realized my husband left his cell phone in a taxi in Mexico. Like, that thing, we'll probably never see it again. It is gone. And then we see the doctor. So we find out my husband has an infection in his eye, and every 3 hours, we are going to have to apply 2 different medicines to his eye. And this course of treatment takes place the whole time we are there, and even like after we get home from Mexico. And not only that, but then the doctor tells us we really need to stay out of the sun and limit our alcohol consumption. We're like, seriously, this is the Mexican Riviera. We just want to sit in the sun, and we want to drink pina coladas. So it was just crazy, this trip. We bought my husband a big floppy brim hat and tried to stay out of the sun, and did the best we could, but still had a few pina coladas. But then a couple days into this trip, we start getting these Facebook messages from our oldest son, and there was a complete and utter relational meltdown with our son and the people who were caring for him while we were gone. It was just a huge fallout. It was painful and difficult, and I mean, really a mess, major adversity. So we faced this crazy major adversity on this trip away together. But here's the amazing part, and that is that we were able to stay steady. And I look back at that trip, and I think it was such a triumph for us, for our marriage, because I just thought, okay, we really are on the other side of the betrayal. We really have moved forward, and life is good. And we have these relational tools that make me believe like we could face anything together. And honestly, when I look at my husband, I don't see the man who caused me the greatest pain in my life. I don't see that anymore. I see a true friend. I see my partner in life. I see someone who loves me and someone that I love. And our hearts and our lives really have been restored. And I hope you hear the hope in that story, because I remember what it's like to feel no hope. I remember what it's like to not want to get out of bed in the morning, to just not know if I could face another day with the pain in my heart and the heaviness and the burden on my shoulders. And I don't feel that way anymore. And there really is hope, and there really is freedom.